In this video, we're going to start creating a sample application that keeps track of the teams in a league, the players on each team. And I'm going to keep it very simple because the thing we're trying to learn, if I complicate it and try and make it too detailed for these players and these teams, we're going to miss the main point here, which is to talk about generics. So let's start out by creating some new classes. And the first class I'm going to create, Java class, is called the player class. So we're going to create a class to hold players, to model our player, maybe a better way to say that. So I create the player class. Here it is. What do we want to keep track of about our player? Let's keep it simple. We'll say we want to keep track of their name. So I am going to Alt-I, and I'm going to add a property for their name. And it's going to create, I'm going to skip the Java docs for this one, just to keep the code simpler and easier to fit more on the screen. So I'm going to unclick Java docs. It's going to be a private field, and that's good enough. Okay, so there I am. I have a player, private string name. I have a getter and a setter for the name. I should probably make a constructor. So Control or Alt insert, add a constructor and include the name. So when somebody creates a player, they have to give the player a name. And I'm going to call that good enough. Now, the thing is, I don't want anybody to really create a generic player. I want it to be a specialized player. I want to be a football player, or a baseball player, or a basketball player. So up here, I am going to add the word abstract and make this an abstract class, which means we can inherit from it. So we're going to inherit from the player class, but we're never going to make just a vanilla flavored player. I don't want to use the term generic in here because we are talking about generics ultimately. So I don't want to create just a player. It needs to be a specific kind of player. So we will just use this class as an abstract class, and we'll inherit from it in our other classes. So let's create a new class. Let's create another new class. Oops, I did new application, new file, Java class. In this class, I am going to call football player. And I want it to inherit from the player class. So I'm going to click browse here and click on player. That way it types the code for me. I like when my editor does that. Okay, so I get football player, and my football player extends the player class. We do need to provide a constructor because we can't, any player that gets created, we said back here, has to have the name set. So we have to provide a constructor that will let us set the name. So I will do Control or Alt insert, and I will add a constructor, and there it is. It accepts the name and just calls the superclass constructor with the name to set it. Football player, easy, extends player. One more, let's do one more class. More class, Java class. This is going to be a baseball player. And this time I won't pick the superclass. I'll go ahead and finish it. And then I'll go in and add it manually, just to show you can do it either way. And then immediately it's telling me, hey, you have to have a constructor. So I'll do that. We'll put the constructor in there using our shortcuts, and we have a baseball player. Now, for my baseball player, I could go on and model a baseball player. I could have methods that make the baseball player swing a bat, methods that make a baseball player run the bases. I could go over to football player and write a method for kick. So a football player can kick the football or hike the football or score a touchdown. Specific methods for each of those classes if I want to. But I'm not going to do that. It would just take time, and it kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing anyway. So I'm going to keep these classes very simple. Know that in a full-blown application, we would need to model all those things. In the next video, we're going to create a team so that we can put these players onto a team once we create them.